But a man named Ananias with his wife Sapphira sold a piece of property and kept back some of the price for himself with his wife's not full knowledge, and bringing a portion of it, he laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said to Ananias, "Why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and to keep back some of the price of the land? While it remained unsold, did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, was it not under your control? Why is it that you have conceived this deed in your heart? You have not lied to men, but to God." So, what I want to remind everyone tonight is the brevity of life. How many of you, bringing a check to somebody, would expect that after 2 sentences from talking to this person, you would immediately die? Who planned that? Anyone made that kind of a plan? I'm going to hand somebody a check and die within 2 sentences of doing so. Or maybe you're going to pay a bill. Maybe you're going to return somebody some money that you loaned them or they loaned you. Maybe hand somebody some paperwork you owe them. And 2 sentences later, you die. Who has that as their plan? Like that's how their life's going to work. Verse 5, as he heard these words, Ananias fell down and breathed his last, and great fear came over all who heard of it. The young men got up and covered him up, and after carrying him out, they buried him. There elapsed an interval of about 3 hours, and his wife came in, not knowing what had happened. And Peter responded to her, "Tell me whether you sold the land for such and such a price." And she said, "Yes, that was the price." And then Peter said to her, "Why is it that you have agreed together to put the Spirit of the Lord to the test? Behold, the feet of those who have buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out as well." So you think she had that in her plan 3 hours earlier? I've been thinking quite a bit, partly because it's my job, but I am reminded that I am now older than many of the friends that I had when I was a teenager and younger, because they've already died. Some of them were 6, 8 years older than I was. Still good friends, members of the church. I am now older. I have lived longer in this life than them. And it's not like they were really into dangerous jobs. They weren't building high-rises. They weren't soldiers like I was. He's a software engineer or an electrical engineer, had a desk job. He did tech support stuff. He was at a drum concert one night because he was a drummer. He was beating the drums. They got done. Everyone's walking away. And he stands up and he says, "Hey, watch out," and fell over and was dead before he hit the floor. They don't even know what he was saying watch out for. You don't get to choose when you leave this life. So what matters is, what do you do in the time that you have? My job in the United States military right now is to make preparations for a coming fight. And if warfare follows the pattern it has followed throughout human history, we've had nearly a century, 80 years, where war has been very inexpensive. For us, we have not been at war since 1945. We've had numerous conflicts, numerous authorizations for military force. We've not been in a declared war since 1945. And when that war ended, when the Japanese signed their surrender, we had lost nearly 500,000 killed in only 4 years. That's 100,000 dead per year. That doesn't count the wounded. That doesn't count the ones that lost arms, legs, the ones that couldn't walk again because they got a bullet in their back, the ones that were shook up so bad they struggled to live a normal life the rest of their life. That number's in the millions. And it has been 80 years since we've had a war like that and a conflict like that. We just got done with like a 22-year conflict in Afghanistan and Iraq, 6,000, 7,000 dead between both of them. When I first entered the service, I had a 12-second life expectancy as my position in the Army. 12 seconds, that's how long I was expected to live. I was to feed the meat grinder that was going to be the Fulda Gap. That's a place in Germany where when Soviet Russia at the time had decided to move their tanks in and attack Western Germany, the Fulda Gap was where they were going. In the month-long battle that was expected there, we were expected to take 100,000 killed casualties. And my unit was expected to feed that meat grinder until the rest of the United States military could mobilize and get over there. I had a 12-second life expectancy. My job right now is to prepare those who are coming behind me, many of you sitting over here, teenagers growing up, that the type of war we've had for the last 60, 70 years may be vanishing away, and the next one that's coming up is going to cost 100,000 in a month, 500,000 in a year. And you may not even be on the battlefield. It's a possibility. You know what's equally as possible? You'll go home after tonight. You'll go to your room. You'll go out in your yard. You'll be walking from the car to your house. And you'll fall over dead. A sudden heart attack isn't likely, but it is possible for everyone who's alive. An aneurysm isn't likely, but it's possible for everyone who's living. My cousin's husband, a week after Mom died in 23, was just standing out in the backyard and fell over dead. Massive heart attack. So what is the condition of your soul? Because this is an invitation for your soul. You cannot control when your life will end, when your heart will stop, when all of a sudden it's gone, done, and judgment is waiting for you. What is the condition of your soul right now? I'm in a dangerous profession. I'm in the military. I've accepted this type of risk most of my life. This is one of my strengths. And I'm trying to pass a little bit of that strength on to you who may not have similar strengths. What kind of condition is your soul in right now? Are you ready to die? If you go home and you get out of your car and you start walking to the house, are you ready to die? Are you ready to die on your way out of this building to your car? I've probably said it a couple of times, but I'll mention it again. When I became a Christian, I was sitting on that side of the church building, not this one in Lafayette, most of the way back. They were singing a song that I knew, and I had a dream earlier that week that they were singing that song. I was sitting in that seat after the person who had just been speaking was up there speaking, and I started coming up to the front crying because the world was ending and it was too late. I was 12 years old. Never have I been more terrified in my life walking up that aisle, hoping that my dream was not going to be real, that I would make it in time. was never so happy to come out of that water. I cried all the way down. I cried trying to give my confession. I cried in the back room because until I came out of that water, I was not safe. And when I came out of that water, I cried more because I was finally safe. But what condition is your soul in? Because until you have chosen to obey God, you are not safe. In Ephesians chapter 4, chapter 4, verse 1, therefore I, the prisoner of the Lord, implore you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you've been called. And that is what I'm trying to do now. With all humility and gentleness, with patience, showing tolerance for one another in love, being diligent to preserve the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace, there is only one body, one Spirit, just as also you were called in one hope of your calling, one Lord, one faith, one immersion, one God and Father of all, who is over all, through all, and in all. And if you want to join that one church, this one body, and this one faith, you too need to be immersed. Don't wait. You are not guaranteed the next 5 minutes. If you are a Christian and you have found yourself falling short, don't wait. You may not get another chance. Make it right with God tonight as we stand and sing the song which has been selected.